Secure
not
daughters,
secure daughters and confident
confident
sons.
sons. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit on what inspired you to write this book and some of what we could look for in it as parents or as in individuals. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, real quick. I wrote this book, and it's probably the most heavily researched book that I've ever done. But it was a book that I wrote to think about how do men and women, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, as sexed or gendered individuals, come together to raise the little boys or little girls. You know what? In today's culture, this is not a popular thing to say, but to be human is to be male and female.
That's
And
right.
the only two options that we have as parents is to raise little boys to be good men or little girls to be good women. There aren't a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 70th gender. There's male and female. But there's 101 ways that that little boy that God has given you can be a good man.
Yes.
Sometimes they're typical boys, sometimes they're more thoughtful, more sensitive, more artistic. Same thing with our little girls. Sometimes they're absolute girly girls, but sometimes they're a little bit more tomboyish. How do we as men, how do we as women contribute and cooperate with our spouse, a male or a female, to raise these little boys and little girls to be the men and women that God encouraged them to be? I intentionally or originally entitled this book Beyond Pink and Blue, Raising Gender Healthy Kids and Parents Too. It's about how do you break away from the rigid stereotypes of pink and blue, but still at the same time say, no, my little boy's boyness is a real thing and my girl's girlness is a real thing. And how does my wife or my husband, how do we contribute together to develop and nurture that boyhood or girlhood in the way that God has wired this child to be? That's
So
what the
good.
book is about.
So good. That's it's definitely an absolute read for any parent or anyone considering I would say even getting married. So you know some of these things ahead of time. Um, this conversation should not end
Yeah, it's the
because
time
there's
has flown by.
so much rich resources in it. But any last words you have to share with men or families that you think they should know just from life and wherever they might be in that season of their journey?
You know what? I would end with this, Tico, is men, do not doubt the goodness of your manhood. We live in a culture today where toxic and masculinity are almost like those words go together. Your masculinity is a gift. Your wife needs you to be masculine. Not a macho guy necessarily, but masculine in the sense of you're a leader, you're a protector, you're a provider, you're a soft hearted man in a hard shell. And you need to be both of those things. Your children need that. Your wife needs that. Never, ever, ever apologize, man, for being masculine. Masculinity is a male virtue that the world needs you to demonstrate.